You ever simp so hard that you solve a crime? Howdy hole, and welcome to Hole Chat, a girl love and boy love podcast that thinks a little crime could be okay if you're really, really sexy about it. I'm your host, Chuck, and with me today is a woman I'll simp for till the end of time, Keelz.
Will you let me do a crime?
If you're sexy about it.
Ooh, I'm gonna do a sexy little murder.
Actually, even if you're not sexy about it, I'd let you do a crime for sure.
That's nice.
I trust you. It's gonna be a good crime.
I mean, when I got drunk for the first time, I did a pretty egregious bakery crime.
Oh, you did steal bread.
Yeah.
I forgot. Everybody does it sometimes.
And it wasn't that bad. If stealing bread is all you do while drunk, that's, great.
During the French Revolution, you would have gone to super jail.
Would have gone to super jail.
And then some dude would have been really horny about putting you back in super jail after you escaped.
Oh. And they would have loved it so much, there's a musical about it.
Oh. So speaking of crime, the comic I want to talk to you about has plenty of crime in it. Everyone's committing some level of crime, technically. But sometimes you have to do that to take care of a bigger crime. What can I say? A little bit of arson's fine if someone else is worse.
So, are you saying this is a crime to cover up a crime?
A crime to stop a bigger crime.
Oh, okay. Alright, I'm gonna hit you with my truck, but in the future you're gonna, take over the world, so... Small evils.
Not quite that far, but in that kind of vein. I read this a couple weeks ago. Immediately got smitten with it. The whole time I was in it, oh my god, we're doing this right now, and there's history involved, and the women are hot. Perfect, no notes. Love every minute of it. Mm-hmm. So I'm making you listen to me about it right now. The manga I want to talk to you about today is called Opium, which is a 2020 Yuri comic written by Aji and illustrated by Junghyun.
So it's a duo team.
This time, it's not. They're not normally a team. They're a team for this one. The specifics being that Aji writes and draws for another comic, and I feel stupid that I did not realize that these comics were connected by the same artist / author, because the theming is similar enough. The theming being war, murder, and tension. That's in her other comic. Her other comic is called On a Leash, and that one is all about those same kind of theming, but I think turned up even more. So that comic at one point had gotten canceled right in the middle of her still drawing it. So there was no she kind of wrapped up a season or whatever. They just canceled it. And this comic was written and produced during the cancellation period for her other comic. And then after this was done, then she ended up being reserialized and being able to finish the other one off.
So the comic that was canceled got repicked up?
Yeah. Because I started reading it around the time it got repicked up, which thank God, because it ended at a terrible spot. And now that comic is finished. So it was cool to be able to connect with this comic of hers, though, that kind of from that in-between time that she was still kind of thinking about war in that time. So she was just told to write for this comic and get all of her ideas out, but she had an artist that worked with her this time that just did the art. But since Aji's an artist as well, she actually did go through and did the storyboards and the paneling and stuff for this comic. So really the artist just had to go in and actually draw everything out, because Aji knows what she's doing as an artist. So it was a very fast turnaround. It's a 50 chapter comic. They did it all within 1 year. They had no breaks in between because Aji was on top of her shit.
Nice.
So that's a cool little tidbit. But the comic itself, Opium itself, is a tense read, but also a horny read. So I think it'll be fine. For every bit of butt clenching, someone's getting their pussy pounded.
Okay, I mean, I do like action-adventure shit. I'm sorry, romance on its own is a little boring. You gotta put a little plot in there, you know? That's my struggle with, I think, certain romances. Because it's no, I just want to talk about, this man and woman who met in a diner and there's this connection. And it's like, okay, but like, I don't know, is the woman like a secret retired spy or something?
Yeah, like shoot at him.
And is he like, secretly another spy from another country trying to find her and get her back in the game?
Yeah, there's got to be a knife in there somewhere.
Right? Like, I just need a little something else. Not always, and not everyone needs that, but I know I do. So I know I'm definitely going to be intrigued by this.
This is right up your alley. I think I have in the script at a couple of points that this is very, like, cinematic and kind of movie-like. Mm-hmm. It does feel like watching a cool action film. There's just significantly more lesbians in it than your normal action film.
Look, in any action film, you could have had lesbians. We're just unimaginative.
Truthfully, we're cowards.
We're cowards.
Okay, so let's get into it. The comic opens up in near darkness with a woman dressed in men's clothing, collapsed on the floor and clutching a bleeding wound on her stomach. A man, fully silhouetted, steps in front of her, just straight up looming. As she pants from pain, the man utters out, "You stupid bitch."
Christ. That's the opening?
Uh-huh.
Jesus.
So, good non-ominous start. But that seems for later. We need to focus back in on the present.
Dear God.
The year, 1946. The city, one of the greatest cities of all time, New York. The women are soft, beautiful, and engaged in cunnilingus.
Oh.
We are introduced to our main character, Maria Arden, mid-coitus with one of her many friends who just happen to be girls.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we zoom in and she is immediately in the process of going to town on another woman. It's brilliant.
All right.
After they finish up, Maria takes to the balcony of the room to smoke a cigarette with her tits out. As she gazes wistfully over the city she's called home for almost all of her life.
She's thinking wistfully, if only I was shot somewhere right about now.
But yeah, like
wow, they just get into it.
That's what I'm telling you.
The color is great on this.
Oh, the art on this is gorgeous. It's
the art's
so
gorgeous.
Good.
The color's gorgeous.
It's so good. And then
is she fucking her with her strap, or are they just?
Oh no, this is 1946.
Okay.
So some people had access to strap, but strap was not common at this time.
That's right. I forgot. This is older.
No, she's just very passionate, is what I would say. But yeah, standing on the balcony, just has like a big overshirt on, and then her tits are out.
Yeah, it's got like some like really good vibes here.
There's a level of confidence that Maria has that I truly, truly respect. Her bedmate calls out to her with an air of casual racism, asking if Maria really is leaving to go back to her home country, and if she'll end up staying forever.
Why is that casual? What does she say that's casual racism?
Well, you see, Maria is a Korean woman who is adopted and raised by a white American family. So as far as she and anyone else should be concerned, the U.S. is her home country.
Oh, but people are like, oh, but you're Korean.
It's yeah.
She wasn't raised there, though.
It's 1946. She remembers nothing about fucking Korea. She has not been back to Korea. But her partner that she has right here is like, oh, well, are you going back home forever? And it's like, dude, home what?
She is home, God. But, being a lesbian in the 40s, you'll take what you can get.
Well, Maria's got problems. Bless her heart. I love her so much. She's got problems.
She's got issues.
Maria corrects her partner for the night and gets an apology in return. I wrote down in parentheses, STFU Helen. Her partner for the night, her name is Helen. And I was like, shut the fuck up, Helen. Don't tell her to go back to her country, you little asshole.
Shut up, Helen.
Yeah. It's big fuck you, Helen kind of energy.
It's got that mean girl energy.
It does, yeah. And then her partner laments how it's just going to be so hard to find someone as good as her and blah, blah, blah. We get it. Maria gives good head. And she was indeed banging the hell out of that woman as a way of saying goodbye to her lifestyle. Because the next day, Maria's on a boat heading off to Choseon/Korea. So I will aside, at this time, because Korea had just recently gotten out from under Japanese colonialism and occupation, they were in a transitioning period where the United States was doing this weird sort of like Big Brother government sort of situation. Like they were helping the Koreans reestablish themselves after being under colonial rule. So the United States took the southern part of the Korean area, and then the Russians took the northern part of the Korean area. If you're familiar with the Korean War, that's kind of how this stuff got started, is good intentions of, you guys seem destabilized, let's help out, because Japanese occupation was long and incredibly fucked up and involved a lot of, we want to stamp out the entirety of your long, story, culture, blah, blah, blah. And so at this point, they were being referred to as Choseon because that was the Japanese term that had been used for a long time to describe the landmass of Korea.
Yeah.
And they weren't sure if they were going to return to the name Korea or keep calling it Choseon. So throughout this comic, they will flip-flop between the two. And then they don't officially become Korea again until, I believe, 1947. And even then it's like one part of Korea is saying blah 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 Korea, the other part saying blah 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 Korea in a different way, and then we eventually get Korean War, and that's that.
Yeah. Isn't Choseon kind of like even a racist term now?
There's a way that, I'm not gonna say it, but there is a racial slur that involves using Choseon. I'm not gonna say it, but I do know what it is.
I know what it is. Because I like the Korean War. Like, I don't enjoy that it happened.
Yeah.
I liked learning about it because, like, as a kid, I loved MASH. I mean, I still love MASH. I own all of MASH. But if you watch any show that has history in it as a kid, you look up what it was all about and what it was all for, and MASH was that gateway for me. So I know a lot about this, and then, like, just how awful the war was and how it left some people.
Of course.
Not good. But yeah, so I haven't heard Choseon in any positive way.
Yeah,
that's why I was like, that's why I was like, should we be talking about
it? It's in the comics, the only reason I'm mentioning it, but I mean, obviously, you as the reader know it's just Korea, technically the area that is current South Korea, so just when you're reading it, that's what's going on. So, Maria's on this boat, heading off to Korea. On the ride over, she has plenty of time to read over the most recent letter from her friend and Korean national, Jinny. It is spelt in the comic Jini, but I think they actually meant it to be American style, like Jinny. Her friend's actual name is Jinhee, but she calls her Jinny. Jinny is thrilled to be offering out her and her husband's home for the duration of Maria's stay. She's also quite grateful since Maria is an experienced physician and can help Jinny with her ongoing health problems. Sure, Jinny's husband is a fairly wealthy man and loves her and takes great care by bringing in the best doctors he can find, but she's still feeling poorly and getting worse as time passes.
I don't trust that.
I don't see why you wouldn't.
Look, I like romance, which means I often like a little murder in my romance, murder mystery romances, so this just feels like, oh, my loving husband. Yeah, I'm poisoning you. It already stinks of that vibe.
You haven't even met the husband yet. You don't even know.
I'm a mean bisexual.
I know.
I just don't trust men in comics. I'm so sorry.
Well, so now we know several interesting things about Maria. She's adopted, an excellent doctor, in a time when it was very difficult to be a female doctor, and she's really good at fucking women. She's also not stoked to be heading off to Korea for the dumb fucking reason of male ego.
Oh.
She's already less than thrilled, but once the boat docks, she discovers a new reason to be disappointed. Jinny's husband was supposed to pick her up from the dock, but he's nowhere to be found. She could have called her uncle if he hadn't offered, but whatever, fine. She's not incapable of finding her way, so she hails a cab and uses the ride to take in the sights and reflect. So, definitely got stranded at the dock in a foreign country to her.
Yeah.
Cool, whatever.
Can she speak Korean?
She can speak Korean, but she's not as fluent as she would like to be. Because Jinny did teach her Korean, over the course of their friendship. But it's one of those things where it's very different being able to speak it pretty well in America versus hearing it literally everywhere around you. And then having to communicate primarily in it. So she's just a little rusty.
No, that's fine. It's just like, I just wanted to know if she could at least, I guess, navigate in this world. Because confidence is great, but I also was like, man, I hope she can at least read it or speak it a little.
She's not totally screwed. What sucks is it doesn't even matter that much about reading it in comparison to going to Korea now, because a lot of things were written in Japanese during this time, because the Japanese were also trying to eradicate
because they were
Korean
trying to
language.
erase.
Yeah, so it's a complicated time to even speak Korean. Yeah, dude. And again, this is a girl love comic, and we already have multiple layers of like history and social
you have
bullshit.
So much history and shit going on.
Yeah. And so she's writing over where she needs to be. She's reflecting on kind of, what's going on. It's 1946, which means Japan has recently been ousted from the country due to losing World War II. America and the USSR have set up shop in South and North Korea, respectively, to help restabilize the country as it transitions from colonial control. And Maria herself has been sent as a special medical envoy to the U.S. military. Essentially, she's there to assist in whatever way the military needs her and to share her expertise with the local medical professionals. Because with this situation, obviously, you're not getting the same sorts of medical information in and out of the country if you're being controlled by another country. So this is seen as a good opportunity for her to share the, breakthroughs and shit that have been going on in America during this time with Korean nationals. It's a good exchange of information kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But this sucks, of course, since she was ousted from her position in America simply because of her race and gender. It sucks even more because she knows nothing about Korean women and whether or not she can get some hot puss. And I am not even joking. I fucking love her, but that is one of her big things is, however am I going to sleep with a woman here?
I mean, I feel like that would be my fear, too. Going to another country and, for me, I would have you, my wife, but it would also be nerve-wracking. Ooh, can I be open with my wife here? Can we even say we're wives?
That's not even what she gives a shit about. She just wants to be able to find a woman to fuck.
Look, if I was single, it'd be my worry, too. I'm just saying, I have different priorities now.
She's a mess. She's such a mess. But yeah, she got kicked out of the hospital that she was working at because it's post World War II, and so men come back from the war, and they're able to retransition into the positions that they had pre-war. So that's part of it, but the other part is definitely, they just don't respect her. They see her as a foreigner, and they see her as a woman, and so they're like, we're going to give this other guy this cool position that you should be up for, but you can just go do this over in Korea. They need your help over there, little Korean woman. So yeah, a combination of misogyny and then racism got her sent over to Korea.
Yeah, again, to bring up MASH, Hot Lips Hooligan was complaining about why women couldn't do things for real and meant it. I just thought she was such a whiner, but again, from her side, no. She was not looking forward to, going back to America where, and they talk about it where they're not going to acknowledge her as a head nurse who is experienced with these world-class surgeons.
Yeah, exactly.
She's going to have to be,
just a nurse.
Just a nurse.
Yeah.
If she wants to honestly keep a higher position, what happens is, a rich friend calls in a favor for her, but,
Oh, that's what sucks extra? Maria's even from a rich family, so that she's gotten as far as she has is likely because of that prestige
of the wealth
and stuff. Is
the
wealth, the prestige, and then she went to, a women's hospital that actually offers out doctorates and stuff, so she's done everything she could, and she's still getting screwed over. There's still always, a secret thing that's going to screw her over.
It was very hard. It's still hard all around the world for all sorts of things, but it's, it's fascinating to hear it's still really hard, I don't know. It's just new aspect of hardness.
Mm-hmm.
It's oh, cool, I'm a woman, and I'm also foreign. Fuck. Because at least, Major Houlihan and MASH had going for her was she was a pretty white woman.
Yeah.
So at least maybe she could get by then. But if you were, if you're like this woman, no, they don't want you.
Yeah. After a bumpy ride, the cab drops her off in front of Kangin Pharmaceutical Company. It's supposedly Jenny's husband's company, so hopefully he'll be there. Before Maria can make it inside, she hears a loud bang as the door to the building flies open. A woman stomps out, holding a bag and looking down. Maria figures as long as she waits and doesn't look at Little Miss Angry, she'll avoid getting into an awkward situation. But she is anything if not obsessed with women, so she sneaks a glance anyway and is stunned by this woman's appearance. Lady hot. Angry and very hot.
Girl, turn off your lady boner.
A man appears from the doorway, shouting after our mystery hottie, calling her a fucking bitch, and warning her not to come back.
Damn.
He notices Maria, and that is how our dear doctor finally gets to meet Jenny's husband.
Christ.
I saved a ton of photos for this one because I am obsessed with the art, but also, like, it's historical, so there's all this, like, historical fashion involved too. Mm-hmm. And Maria herself is just very pretty, but we're establishing, you know, things are different here in Korea and stuff like that.
It's like awful right now. It's like awful right now.
But also, why I saved this picture specifically, there's a character that we're going to get to know. You don't know that you're getting
and they're hidden in the background.
Yes. And so that's the other thing I love. I love when people will put important characters in the background of scenes, not fully acknowledge them, just draw them out too well, so that then you're thinking about them later. Love that. Chef's kiss.
Yeah. Stuff getting hidden in plain sight is fun.
And I saved a picture showing that they have, like, Kangen Pharmaceutical Company. The name on its sign is written in Japanese specifically, which I want you to keep in mind.
Ooh.
And then Hot Lady.
I guess. I'm picky.
Yeah, so that's Hot Lady, and that's...
I need them to be strong, independent, non-binary people.
Okay.
Like my spouse.
Okay. So let's get to Jenny's husband. His name is Won-hyuk Kang, and he apologizes to Maria, explaining that he mixed up the times and failed to retrieve her due to his own folly. It's an overly polite apology that, one, feels incredibly disingenuous. Like he looks like a goddamn used car salesman.
Can I say something kind of interesting? In a lot of shows I watch, like in a lot of Korean dramas I watch, Kang is always the villain.
You're not wrong.
I'm wondering if Kang has some sort of significance I don't know about.
I don't know. I have a question about that too.
Me too, but Kang is like normally someone who's a problem, and I'm like, what is the significance? I'm curious about it.
Yeah. Let me show you the face of used car salesman. This is the face he's got going on.
Oh, don't trust that
You
man.
See what I mean? He's dressed like a used car salesman. It feels too on the nose.
He also feels like he's making that sheepish fox face that, like, people will sometimes make references to.
Yes. The other thing about his face is that he reminds me suspiciously of how you're taught to apologize in Japanese culture.
That's it. That's it. It's a little weird.
So those are the two things. He looks disingenuous, and then it's that very overtly, like, you have to apologize a certain way in Japanese culture. And obviously in Japanese culture, it's part of it. But we are in Korea, so it feels a little weird, especially post-occupation.
Yeah.
Right?
You should be letting that stuff go to, prove that you're not into the Japanese ways anymore.
Perhaps. Nevertheless, Kang takes Maria to the massive home he shares with Jenny, and the ladies are finally reunited. They all three have a very normal dinner, chatting about this and that, and complimenting Maria on her Korean, which is pretty good. Jenny taught her forever ago, and Maria was an excellent student, so luckily she'll be able to settle into her new life fairly easily.
Is Jenny like an older woman?
No, she and Maria are very close in age.
Okay. I'm wondering if they...
This is Jenny.
Jenny's so cute
She's
looking.
very cute.
I was wondering if they were going to, like, maybe bang later, honestly, or have before.
No, she and Jenny are just besties. Jenny is very straight.
Fair. Jenny, I wish you weren't because you're hot.
She's so cute, right?
She's very attractive. She's so chubby and precious looking.
I know, she's adorable.
Yes.
Jenny has just one pressing question. Is Korea to Maria's liking? Yeah, Maria responds as she thinks about the hot lady she saw earlier that afternoon. It feels like something special is about to happen. And as the first chapter finishes off, we see a figure in an unknown room, bathed in shadow, as they open a folder and pull out a stack of papers with Maria Arden's information on it.
Probably not good.
We'll see.
Like, this has very nice spy energy, like, something's going on in the war. I'm really interested in this. And there's going to be lesbians. Fantastic.
So the next chapter takes place soon after the last. Maria starts her day off with tending to Jenny's health. We're never 100% sure what's going on with Jenny, but we know it affects her heart and lungs. And it might be that her ailment doesn't have a name yet, but we're not 100% sure.
Yeah.
I have my own theory about Ginny's illness, but I will talk to you about that later when we get to the character part. What we do know is that Ginny's already doing a bit better under Maria's care, and that these moments serve as some nice bonding time for the two of them. Because I know Ginny lived in the United States for a period of time, and that's how she and Maria got to know each other. Like, Maria's parents are, all of Maria's family, good family. Really and truthfully. They actively love her. They adopted her as a way of being like, hey, you know, there are orphans all across the world. We should be trying to help our brother and blah, 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 sort of thing. And so they adopted her, but they treat her as her own daughter. They're very proud of her. They spend a lot of time with her. And her parents were smart because they were friends or colleagues with Ginny's dad. And were like, hey, our daughter's Korean too. She might feel more comfortable if she knows somebody who looks like her.
That's nice.
So, like, her parents...
So they adopted her, but she's not an adoption for show.
No, they really thought... They were trying to make a statement of, like, you should adopt a child. People should adopt children. And so we're on the forefront of encouraging people to adopt children. Because before that, it was not as common in the United States and stuff like that, too. So her parents are super cool. Love them for that. But that's how she knows Ginny, is, like, let's get you comfortable with somebody.
Yeah, that's nice. Because it's like... If you get adopted into a family, like, and you happen to be of another race or ethnicity, I do hope people will, like, find a way to let you know your own history.
That's what it is. They're like, you'll learn some about, like, your home culture and blah, blah, blah. Like, you're still an American, but we want you to be comfortable and, you know, connect in this way. So.
Yeah. Adoption is pretty typical in my family. So, like, this is something I definitely think of and like to see because it's just, you know, since I've grown up around it, it's something that comes to mind.
Yeah.
So this is really nice that her parents, like, thought, like, hey, let's try and get her connected to someone who's Korean so we can, like, figure this out. That's very nice.
Exactly. Yeah. So they get to, you know, take care of Janae's health, but also bond at the same time and kind of catch up, because sending a letter is not the same thing as being there in person.
Yeah.
They chat after examination is done. It's mostly just Ginny complimenting how great and smart of a doctor that Maria is, and how it's crazy that a big hospital in New York would toss her aside. Oh.
Yeah.
Oops.
Shouldn't have brought that up.
Ginny stops herself, since this is obviously a touchy subject, but Maria tells her to pay it no mind. It's an honor to be in Korea, and this will do wonders for her career. This is only half true, but Maria cares more about Ginny's feelings in this moment than her own. Still, Ginny's super grateful that Maria's here with her, and will have so many wonderful opportunities to prove her capabilities as a doctor. She's so happy that she's throwing Maria a party. Or really, Kang is throwing her a party. A huge shindig to be held that evening after Maria delivers a lecture to a group of local medical professionals. This is a big oof moment, because a giant party is the last thing Maria wants, but she can tell this is all Kang's idea, and likely has more to do with his image than anything else. Ugh, whatever. She can't risk being too impolite by refusing an already planned event, so she gives in. It'll be interesting, at least.
Yeah.
And, like, this is a recurring theme that Maria is outgoing and confident, but she seems to be consistently resistant to, like, big parties or gatherings. We'll kind of talk about it a little bit more later, but they're setting that up at this point for sure.
Okay.
Maria's lecture goes quite well, and she's able to deliver at least part of it in Korean, which she's pretty proud of. She's even enjoying the company of some of the attendees who are complimentary of her linguistic ability and interested in her research. She's having, like, a good time.
Nice time.
Yeah, like, men and women are telling her, it's like, oh, it's so fascinating, you're a doctor, and that's so cool, and blah, blah, blah. But then Kang appears to fuck that up just as soon as she's getting comfortable. He drags Maria off to introduce her to some of his colleagues, who look at her with an air of bemusement.
Oh, no.
Because, you know, she's a woman and a doctor. They immediately both start in with mild xenophobia, like the, are you from here or are you from another Asian country? And full-on sexism. Which is great on the one hand, because that means that Ginny kept details about Maria's life very private, so she didn't spill what she shouldn't have. But also, it's incredibly annoying. When one of the chuds says, you can save lives as a nurse, you know. Maria is slightly taken aback, but then she smirks as she crafts the perfect response to these assholes. Not everyone can manage to be an internist, but I'm more competent than anyone else, so I can handle it. With a girlish giggle. Love her for that.
All right, you're going to have to explain the joke to me. I do not know what an internist is.
It is a specific type of medical doctor. So, like, our PCP, your primary care physician, is basically an internist.
All right, so she snubbed them, basically, because she knows some good medical terminology. And it's like, not everyone can handle this position.
She's like, not everybody can be as a good doctor like I can be, but I'm so much smarter than everyone. Here,
okay.
flip.
And then she did it in a cute, girlish way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's her giving her speech right there. And then is out there trying... This is when they're like, oh, you could have just been a nurse, though.
Mm-hmm. How they paint this is very lovely. It's like, the perspective and the painting. You're right, this is totally up my alley. This is very movie-like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Kang does step in to try and smooth things over with that slimy smile of his.
Yeah.
But while he continues talking, Maria's attention is elsewhere. There, in the distance, dressed in traditional hanbok, is Hot Woman.
Uh-oh.
She's here, looking hot as usual, so Maria can't help herself and rushes through the crowd to catch up to her.
That's funny.
She stumbles as her heel breaks and falls right into the arms of unknown hot lady. The woman helps Maria to a sofa so she can get off of her broken shoe and fetches her another glass of champagne before taking a seat next to her. When asked if she's okay, Maria's face lights up as she assures that she's totally fine, no issues. It's so crazy that she felt like that. But more importantly, who is this mysterious beauty?
Mm-hmm. And you showed me the pictures of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She sees her in the crowd and then falls into her arms.
Can I just say, the picture you showed me of before, she was in, like, you know, more modern clothing for the time. But now that she's in traditional hanbok, she's hotter.
She looks really good in traditional clothing, and then she looks really good in, I think, her doctor's uniform, which she doesn't get to wear all the time.
Okay.
But yeah, so she then asks, like, hey, you know, who are you? The woman apologizes for not saying so sooner and introduces herself as Kyeongju Lee, a fellow doctor and owner of a small hospital outside of the city. Kyeongju flashes Maria a small smile, and Maria returns it, but you can tell by the look on her face that she is delighted by what she sees. But I get it. If Kang looks like a snake derogatory, Kyeongju also looks like a snake, but hot and non-derogatory.
Like the snake that you're like, alright, you can fuck me.
There's like snake, untrustworthy person, and then there's hot snake lady, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hot snake lady is probably what got Eve to eat that apple, you know?
Oh, yeah, I mean, me too, girl.
Like, there's no way a creepy guy got her to eat the apple. It was some hot snake pussy that did it.
Yeah. Kyeongju compliments Maria, saying she's amazing for throwing an event as extravagant as this. Maria, however, is embarrassed and informs Kyeongju that this is not her doing, but rather Kang's, despite what the local newspaper says. Because the newspaper even printed, not gives lecture at local community center, but throws party at local community center. And I'm like, that sucks, because she definitely wants to be known for...
That sucks, because she's giving a lecture.
Yeah, she's not a party girl, she just wants to talk about medicine.
Yeah.
Regardless, the alcohol is free and plentiful. I think they both agree is good. And they share a laugh that definitely feels like it's at Kang's expense, which is deserved.
Yeah, because he's definitely trying to make something off of this, you know, be a connection or get in someone's pocket. I don't know.
This is nice and all, but Maria could swear she's seen Kyeongju somewhere before.
Yeah, this is the person that was called a bitch.
Kyeongju tells her that no, this is the very first time they've seen each other. But it's very likely that Maria is well known, considering her position in healthcare. So, obvious lie is obvious. But Maria truly doesn't care, and instead turns on the Riz.
Girl.
It's strange. I hardly ever forget a beautiful woman.
You don't even know if you can flirt. Be careful.
Kyeongju compliments her on being better than the men at flirting. So so she is aware, and maybe of the lesbian persuasion herself. Lucky Maria. Maria continues flirting, offering to take Kyeongju out to dinner sometime. You know, as a thank you for catching her. Kyeongju asked her to think nothing of it. It was a right place, right time sort of situation. And in any case, she's a bit of a pariah to the wider medical community, especially Maria's new friends. But Maria doesn't give a single goddamn what others think and clinks her glass with Kyeongju's as emphasis.
She's thinking with her clam jam right now.
100%.
My clam is speaking to me. It says, polish my pearl, please.
Like, on the one hand, this is how I feel about Maria consistently. On the one hand, yes, she's thinking with her pussy. On the other hand, she is also thinking very much like an American, like, prove to me that it's really that bad. And I appreciate that part of it that's like, prove to me, I need to see it for myself because I'm not just going to take rumors. I'm used to rumors. Let's hear the truth. Mm-hmm. So it's like one part of her is a very upstanding person and the other part of her is just pure unadulterated horny.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Both can be good,
She's
honestly.
a hero, honestly.
It's a good combo to have.
Yeah. They're about to seal the deal on a date when Kyeongju's pariah comment comes to fruition, as a full glass of champagne is accidentally dumped on her.
Damn.
The culprit? A woman with a bad bob. And sorry.
A woman with a bad bob.
I mean it.
It was very posh of you.
A woman with a bad bob and one of Ginny's friends, who is also now part of Maria's inner circle. Bad Bob gives a bullshit excuse, of course, but Kyeongju keeps it classy, announces her departure, and leaves. Maria is bewildered by this obvious display of bullying and attempts to run after her, but that damned heel is still broken.
This is so Cinderella right now.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I know it's midnight, but come back.
Mm-hmm. Please, let me just look at you. She stumbles again, and Kang comes to her aid.
God damn.
But all she can focus on are the crude whispers coming from the crowd, all of which are about Kyeongju.
Jeez.
Yeah. So it's cool that she showed up, but also, you know.
But also, there do be rumors about her.
And then this is a picture of Ginny, and these are two of her other kind of posh socialite friends.
Is that girl with the bob the problem?
No, that's Bad Bob.
Oh, no.
I told you.
Because I was about to say, the other Bob is not so bad, but this Bob's bad.
Like, I get, it's a very stylish Bob, but you
she's not pulling it off.
You have to have the right fucking face shape. This looks stupid.
If you don't have the right shape for this, I think it would just age you, and I think that's what it did for her.
Yeah. But yeah, this was her sitting and trying to flirt. That's what I mean. But Kyeongju looks like a snake woman.
Oh, they're gorgeous. They're gorgeous. The art is so lovely. And, like, even how, like, Maria, right? Mm-hmm. Even how Maria is painted, like, she's Korean, but she comes off as very American. Very Sigourney Weaver, you know?
Absolutely. So, a few days later, after this whole party debacle, Maria is with Ginny and her entourage, including Bad Bob, on an outing to the greenhouse, which is, they call it the greenhouse, but it's essentially a botanical garden.
Okay. Like fish, plants, flowers.
Yeah, they make a mention that it used to be like a palace, and then the Japanese, like, burned it to the ground, and then they rebuilt the palace, and now it's like a botanical garden.
Man.
Yeah, I know.
No, like, sorry, just, like, history being lost is always bum. It always bums me out.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, it's amazing when evil people care about art and architecture. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Like, because, like, there's been plenty of wars where we got to keep art and shit because someone appreciated it. Mm-hmm. Or someone was like, I'll just, I'm still going to do this terribly atrocious thing, but I'm going to put this thing over here. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah. So, they're at this botanical garden, a place that Maria is fascinated by, but her interest is dampened by who she's accompanying. As pretty and mysterious as the flowers are, they can't hold a candle to Kyeongju. Bad Bob chats her up specifically, asking whether she's had much time for sightseeing and inviting her to get coffee with the rest of them. While going to Ginny's fave coffee spot would be nice with just the two of them, Maria has no patience for the other women and declines, saying that she's feeling quite poorly.
Especially the girl with the bad bob.
Yeah.
She's like, you ruined my night.
She smiles in a way that screams, I would push you into the Han River given the chance. Because she remembers specifically her and her bad bob.
I mean, I remember her and her bad bob too. Like, I've never actually seen anyone sincerely pour something on someone, you know? I've never actually seen a trip where someone actually spilt something on someone.
Yeah.
I have seen people trip. And you know where that drink goes? All over them.
Or the floor.
Or on the floor. Or in the rare occurrence, way up in the crowd, and it gets everybody. But, like, when one person is ever dumped in liquid, I'm always suspicious. Like, what? Why'd you do that?
No, that's a good point, because the last drink I got poured on me, or spilt on me, excuse me, not even poured. Somebody dropped a drink at a concert, and it splashed up on me and, like, soaked my knees. Mm-hmm. But it splashed up. Somebody obviously dropped it. It hit the right ankle, and it splashed up on me. But nobody, like, I didn't get soaked. Like, my bare knees got wet, and then they dried before I left.
Yeah, and because, like, I have, like, this fondness for, like, looking at, like, the Regency period, and even right now I'm obsessed with the French Revolution again. And I just keep thinking of, like, you know, spilling drinks on people, and I'm like, yeah, that was you obviously being a whore to someone, you know? But, like, I can't think in the real world, and it could be because we don't have balls and parties all the time anymore, but I can't think of in the real world anyone spilling their drink on someone in actuality.
Okay, even as a connection to more current times, I watch a ton of teen movies, and even in those teen movies, people were pouring drinks on purpose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's established, like, nobody does this on accident. Also, other aside, I will sometimes dip into the wedding subreddits, and I have heard plenty of stories of people pouring things on accident onto brides or, like, people who wore white to the wedding. Every single time they've been able to confirm it was on purpose. Every single time.
I mean, I would pour white on someone who wore it to someone else's wedding, let me tell you. You better have cleared it with the bride before you wear white.
Exactly, that's your job.
That is your job. Oh no, your friend Tracy's in white. Oh, how dare she. Oops, I'm suddenly so clumsy. Good Lord.
The next scene, Ginny is innocently asking her husband if Maria's home. You know, because she said she'd be there, since she wasn't feeling well. Kang responds that, no, Maria is not home, and then immediately escalates to anger. Which is pretty uncalled for. Yeah.
Why?
Great question.
Sorry, I like Ginny so much.
You immediately got hot, like, excuse me?
Like, okay, it's not just that she's hot. She has that cute, sweet look about her that makes you go, oh, no, baby.
She does.
Like, in the positive and the negative. Like, oh, baby, you're so sweet. But also, oh, baby, people probably should protect you, too.
She's also sickly.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But she's very cute, and I will kill her a fox of a husband.
Yeah.
Fox, not in a good way. He looks like a fox. He has that, like, face where he's, like, being tricky that people often reference in Japanese works. So it's like, this is negative. He's not hot. He's being slimy. He's being tricky.
So it is pretty uncalled for that he's suddenly angry about this, because Maria is Jenny's friend. So why is he so pissed off about a full-grown Korean-speaking woman exploring the city alone? He berates Jenny because Maria is her responsibility, but eventually tempers his anger and attempts an air of great concern. But really, what's the worst that could happen to Maria?
I keep wanting to break out into Sound of Music songs. Have you heard what happened to Maria? You know, that shit, like where the nuns are like gossiping and singing in these high voices. And then they do that solemn, like, retake of the first song where she's like, the hills are alive. And, like, the old nun is like, will you climb every mountain? And it's just gushing. And it's like, why are you making this song so weird and sad? She's having, like, a sexual crisis right now. Because that's what it's about.
Yeah.
It's about her getting so fucking horny for the man she's working for that she's like, I need to go find God. Excuse me. Done.
Well, this Maria, I don't think knows God. I think she told God to fuck off.
But it's like, even more, it makes me want to sing that fucking song a little bit. Because the whole point is Maria was not suited to be a nun. She was always meant to be a mom.
Maria, meanwhile, is just a woman in need of some coffee. She's fairly far away from home, but she's got her reasons.
Do they have coffee at this point in Korea?
They've had coffee for forever at this point, yeah.
Okay. No, sorry, my brain... I feel like coffee meant something else in Korea, though, and I can't put my freaking thumb on it. Never mind.
So she comes upon a large building that clearly says beer cafe, but there's kanji on the sign, so in English it says beer and cafe. And then the kanji looks like the kanji for king and play, so that's a little weird. If it's beer cafe, where does play come into? Whatever. But she thinks cafe means coffee, so obviously they serve bean water, right? She enters.
This is what I was thinking about, I realized. Okay.
She enters, noticing that there's an awful lot of waitresses around, but shrugs it off and takes a seat.
Oh, honey.
She's in the middle of lighting up a cigarette as one of said waitresses approaches her and attempts to say something, but Maria cuts her off, requesting a cup of coffee, any brand. Maria has drawn the attention of the other waitresses and patrons. The patrons who are, suspiciously, mostly dudes. A fact she is 100% oblivious to, because she's too busy thinking about how close she might be to Kyeongju's hospital. Girl. Two of those aforementioned dudes come over to her table and immediately start in on the aggressive flirting, consisting of demeaning and negging her, of course, because douchey dudes be douching. So they're like, oh, you look like a rich man's wife, what are you doing here? Or, oh, maybe, are you a foreigner? You're a hot foreigner here on your own? Oh, yeah, look how you must be have so much money from your husband's business, blah, 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 kind of thing.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny how no matter what era we're in, there's always going to be a douchebag that thinks putting you down is how you get into your heart?
Yeah. They continue to become more and more aggressive with her, sitting too close and getting their alcohol breath all over her, despite Maria making it clear that she's both uncomfortable and foreign, because they're even talking a little bit too fast for her and using too much slang, so she's getting behind.
Yeah, so they're being intentional.
Right as one of the sleaze bags is about to touch her, a hand reaches out, grabs the dude's hand, and sharply bends his fingers back with a crack.
Yes.
And there she is. Kyeongju stands above Maria's booth, looking extra hot as she continues to harm that strange man. She's
a doctor, so you know she knows how to do it.
Mm-hmm. And she just says, long time no see, doctor.
Oh, that's hot.
Right?
Imagine that sentence in Korean.
Yeah. So here she is bending back his hand, and she's just looming, and then, long time no see.
Yeah, she looks a lot hotter in this doctor's uniform. Mm-hmm. Whatever I first saw her in before didn't work. I think it had like a Peter Pan collar.
Yes.
That was not good.
There's a reason why she was in that too, which I can explain to you later.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm also sure that was modern outfits back then, and I don't like Peter Pan collars anyway. So.
Totally fair. But yeah, she does look good and hot. Looming over her is one of those, like, it's not breasting boobily to a point that's too far, but just, you ever seen a very feminine shaped woman in, like, men's style clothing? It's that thing.
Yeah, they don't where their bosoms are almost intimidating.
Yeah, because they don't make a ton of like button-up shirts, like men's style button-up shirts for women at this point. They don't make a ton of blouses and stuff at this point. It's still a lot of dresses and full outfits and stuff like that. So what a lot of the women are wearing in here that is work-related, their work clothes are men's clothing. Chef's kiss. How brilliant of a time this was.
Yeah.
But the two men are unreasonably angry, throwing a few "you bitches" around.
Jeez.
But, yeah, they love saying bitch in here.
I'm sure, because we're getting near the 1950 area where it was like, that seemed to be the favorite swear. Mm-hmm. Everyone was a bitch and a dame.
Mm-hmm. But Kyeongju is excellent at being rude, and manages to throw them both off by simultaneously insulting them and encouraging them to chill the fuck out. Then she grabs Maria by the wrist and books it out of the building.
Yeah, because that's what I thought, because the reason I didn't remember coffee is I'm like, some places still didn't have cafes for women, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, they just had them for men, so they were more like, get a little flirty while you enjoy your smoke and your coffee and your cigarette.
They stop a ways away from the cafe. Kyeongju finally letting go of Maria's wrist. Maria clutches her own wrist as though it's become a precious object.
Because you touched me.
Like, she's clutching it, she's got a little blush. I'm like, girl, really?
She is having a hardcore lesbian crush.
She's so clearly becoming smitten with Kyeongju. It's... oh god, you're a grown woman. It's fine. Kyeongju, on the other hand, makes some weird comments about Maria being someone who gets bored easily, and apologizes for interrupting her if she was actually out to have a good time. You know, kind of rudely alluding to Maria being straight, which couldn't be more off base. Mm-hmm. Maria assures her she was just there to get coffee and had no intention to smash dudes. She says so with this, like, with the desperation of proving to your crush that you really do like Pokemon, actually.
I love Pokemon. I mean, pussy. I mean, whatever you want me to love.
It's got that vibe. Like, please, no, understand, you're hot. Kyeongju realizes, as Maria explains herself, that there is a language and cultural barrier at play here. Because cafe does not equal coffee here, not consistently. It usually means coffee, alcohol, and a handy. Similar to, like, X-rated host clubs.
Mm-hmm, yep.
Kyeongju smiles, finding the situation amusing for sure, and offers to take Maria to an actual cafe. For coffee, and so Maria can finally treat her. A date, basically.
Is this a real cafe?
Yes, it's going to be a real cafe this time.
Yeah, because, like, I don't know what they would be called in Korea, but, like, just thinking about the Ottoman Empire, they had a different name, you know?
Yeah.
God, she's so smitten about her wrist.
But this, her little, like, grab the wrist and...
She really does look like Sigourney Weaver to me. She could be played by Sigourney Weaver.
I get what you mean. And then Kyeongju just picks, like, all the fucking correct angles. Be like, hey, you want to go somewhere?
Like, holy shit.
Let me look over my shoulder.
She's the cool girl we all want to know.
Yes. The two women end up in a totally normal cafe, and Maria finally gets the coffee she wanted so badly.
Bless her heart.
Thankfully, it's delicious as well. She thanks Kyeongju profusely for taking her here, but also keeping her out of further trouble. It's clear she hasn't had much time to explore the city at length, but Kyeongju is curious because she's like, well, don't you have a whole entourage willing to show you the sights? Technically, yes, but Maria has since become uncomfortable with those women since they were so outwardly rude to Kyeongju after all. So she doesn't hide it, just straight up says, like, well, they were rude to you, so I'm not sure if I want to hang with them.
That's fair. Also, like, I don't know if she's going to bring it up, because you might say this in the next breath, but Kang has me so uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Him wanting to know where she is, like, this has me in the mind, oh my god, this is going to turn into a trafficking incident. He's going to try and snatch her and make her someone's bride. Because, like, bride snatching was pretty prevalent in, like, Korea and China.
You're not wrong. I'm making a weird face because I'm worried you're going to get close to stuff. Because I think this is a comic where you're not going to guess everything.
Mm-hmm.
But you're already getting weirdly close to some other stuff, so I'm begging.
I can't help it. I love stories. I like to write myself, and I also really like history. So I know a lot about history.
I'm never going to be close.
You just happen to be near a subject I know a lot about.
I know, and I know you'd like it, but still, please. Kyeongju does seem quite aware of how she's spoken about, and asks Maria if she believes all the rumors. Well, firstly, she'd much rather see for herself what kind of person Kyeongju is, but also, the patients at Kang's hospital would have no reason to leave and run their mouths if they'd received proper care to begin with.
Yeah, because Jenny's not getting that care for sure.
That's the thing,
I'm just mad that his wife is sick. And that he also yelled at her.
But that's the big rumor, is that Kyeongju has been, like, sniping patients from his hospital. But it's like, yeah, this wouldn't even be a fucking case if you actually took care of your patients well, right?
Yeah.
But so, like, Maria's, like, all happy about getting the coffee in this scene. And then she's like, well, they wouldn't have left this hospital if he didn't suck so much.
Like, gossip, gossip, gossip.
Like, this is what I mean, is Maria feels so cunty at times.
Mm-hmm.
And then she is running after this woman like a lovesick puppy at the same moment.
She is also very much exuding American. And I think that's so funny, because she is American.
Yeah.
But she's a Korean American woman. And I just think it's really cool that you can tell you're so American right now.
I agree. And this is Kyeongju also being like, oh, you're so interesting. As she's being told,
horrifying. Like, she's so horrifying. Like, she's very sexy, but, like, I feel like I'm in danger, you know?
Yeah. So Kyeongju laughs, referring to Maria as an independent thinker. Maria notices that the object of her affections doesn't at all address the other rumors as they continue to chat. But who cares? She's so goddamn hot.
What are the other rumors?
We don't get into that, but there's some other rumors about Kyeongju. And Maria's got a problem that she believes Kyeongju can fix.
My pussy.
Since Jenny can't leave the house much, and all of her friends suck, Maria needs a tour guide of sorts. So maybe Kyeongju can help her?
Oh, okay, yeah, so, not pussy yet, but she's working it. She's like, I got a goal in mind.
Kyeongju slides her hand on top of Maria's, leaning forward against the table, causing her breasts to press together and creating obvious cleavage in her button-up shirt.
Oh.
This whole tour guide predicament is something that she and Maria can definitely figure out together.
Oh, man. You see, I see why men in movies get fucked up by sexy female spies. What are you gonna do? Mm-hmm. What are you gonna do against this? What are you gonna do against this woman who, I don't know, is probably going to try and trap Maria? But what do? She's hot.
Legit, my next line is, rumors be damned, this woman can do whatever the fuck she wants.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
And the face that Maria makes after hearing this, where she's just like, man, she still got all those rumors she didn't address. She just looks like she's drunk on how hot Kyeongju is, and is like, whatever, dude, she can just give it.
She does look like she's drunk on how hot she is.
Bless her.
I feel bad for constantly being like, this woman is so hot. I can't help it. I am very bi. This woman is very hot.
One of the points in this comic is that the women are hot. Like, truthfully. Mm-hmm. The author, Aji, she even said that she felt so blessed that she got the artist that she did, because she was a little nervous, like, well, what if I can't get my stuff across, or what if I can't communicate with the artist? And then she saw their artwork and was like, oh, I am in for a fucking treat. I'm so lucky.
Because she's like, oh, this person can draw a woman.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, you want, like, for this type of story, you would want someone to be really good at drawing a woman. Because not just making her hot, but making her hot and maybe look dangerous, making her hot and look innocent.
Yes.
There's a lot that you want these women to be able to express.
Yes. The two women sit and chat as the day grows long, eventually switching to wine as their beverage of choice. As the hours pass, Maria finds herself becoming more and more charmed by Kyeongju. She knows she is the diversion that she's been looking for since she docked. Now all she has to do is take things nice and slow. Let their relationship unravel slowly.
Cut to them boning.
Maria knows if they move too quickly, everything will fall apart and into nothing. So they absolutely fuck nasty that night.
Oh, of course.
Because Maria is anything but chill about Kyeongju.
I'm serious. The moment a gay woman says, I need to take things nice and slow,
they're
fucking them. They're fucking them, or they're living with them that night.
Yeah, so they don't even... The fucking they have is beautiful, too. Is beautifully staged and everything.
It's very pretty.
So she's trying to think, let's be slow about this, and then her hand is up Kyeongju's skirt.
I mean, yeah.
Which, I get it.
She's beautiful, though. They're both attractive women.
Yeah. It's good. And then Kyeongju normally wears her hair up in this, like, tight bun. Because, like, doctor and her hair's long and trying to keep it out of her face. But it's only in this tight bun. And so every time it comes down, it's this, like, beautiful waterfall of, like, obsidian. It's so pretty. Like, this is what you hear people describe in romance novels as being, like, the beautiful female lead. For sure. The next morning, Maria wakes up naked and alone in a strange bed with an aching head. She jumps up in surprise when she realizes exactly where she is and why, and who's currently missing from the room. On cue, Kyeongju enters the room, causing a wave of embarrassment to wash over Maria, intensifying her headache in the process.
Oh, I shouldn't have boned you yet.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
She really is like, oh, I fucked up. Kyeongju offers her a hangover remedy and sits at the table across from the bed, remarking that they definitely went too hard on the drinking last night. But still, she says, they had a pleasant time.
Hey.
Maria blushes in response, then tentatively asks if she was rude the night before. Rude? No. Difficult? Yes.
Uh-oh.
Specifically, she gave Kyeongju a lecture on the importance of preventative medicine and how it can prevent epidemics. You know, the sort of thing you'd hear in medical school. And Little Miss Thing was full-on drunk while saying it. So she was passionately telling her, like, glass full of wine, you don't understand. We have to do this and this and this. And that's the way that we're going to prevent more epidemics from sprouting up and whatever.
That's really funny.
It's very cute.
That's very funny. And that is, like, I feel like 9 times out of 10, when you're drunk, you talk about your passion.
Yeah. So it's a good opportunity to prove how passionate Maria really is about medicine. And that's pretty cool. Because she, as love-struck dumb as she's acting, she is a very intelligent woman, and that's nice to, like, have that good dichotomy going there. Like, she's dumb this way, but she's, like, sharp as a tack every other way. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Maria is now in a glass case of embarrassment. even though Kyeongju seems amused by her past actions. She'd actually like to talk with Maria more, but she's a doctor after all, and duty calls. She writes her number on a piece of paper and hands it off to Maria with a smile.
Nice.
Flash forward to later that morning, and Maria is leading a class on germ theory, because that's what she had to do this morning. So she spent the night just fuck nasty.
Mm-hmm.
And then she has to be on the other side of town giving a lecture that morning. I'm like, girl, please.
Yeah.
The lesbian failure is coming in very, very strong.
It's so funny. It's very fascinating that they're talking about, like, preventative medicine, right? Mm-hmm. I love that medical history throughout the ages is so fun, because it's so interesting when you go in the past and they didn't know that, like, washing your hands was safe.
That's relevant.
You know?
That's relevant.
Is that part of this? That's so cool.
Oh, I'm about to actually talk about that. Yeah, okay. So she's leading this class on germ theory. It's an all-male class, in particular.
Uh-oh.
As she explains the required task, it's obvious that they are less than thrilled to be listening to, one, a foreigner, and much less a woman.
Yeah.
But Maria couldn't give two shits. Because, one, she knows she's hot shit when it comes to the field of medicine, and germ theory especially. And two, she's too busy fighting off the lingering embarrassment from earlier. She's brought out of her swirling, extremely gay thoughts by a student coming back from the bathroom with unwashed hands.
Gross.
Like a heathen.
Gross.
This is made especially worse by the fact that they are literally working with germs. So literally, what the fuck, my dude? Maria absolutely verbally hands his ass to him, legitimately telling him to take off his doctor's coat if he's gonna be so nasty, and then, like, explains to him, like, the white coat is supposed to mean cleanliness, and it's supposed to be a reminder to, like, do good hygiene, and is explaining exactly the history of, like, you have to wash your hands for blah, blah, blah.
I hope besides shaming him, he actually learns a lesson from this, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, she's interrupted by Kang with his nasty little face.
Kang, get the fuck out of here.
He does kind of back her up on her reprimand, but still manages to undermine her by pulling her out of the classroom to talk privately. So he couldn't just hold on, let her say her piece, and, like, maintain her control over the situation. He has to be like, well, by the way, I need something. He requests her help with getting a cholera vaccine developed, since she is connected to the current U.S.-supported government, and he'll need their approval. This is good and all, but is definitely the sort of thing that could have waited until the evening, since they live in the same goddamn house.
Yeah, but he's making it look like he's scolding her.
Still, she agrees, but also tells him she's too busy to discuss it more for the rest of the day, putting down a firm boundary that he respect her fucking time. And technically, she is busy that afternoon. That slip of paper from Kyeongju is burning a hole in her pocket, and she's got to do something about it.
Look, I'm not even judging her. She made plans, dude.
Yeah.
Ask her, she's free.
That's how I feel, too. I do want to show you her telling the dude,
off.
like, hey, go fuck yourself, take your gown off. And then Slime Ball has to show up.
God, like, even his, like, resting face is uncomfortable.
Every time you see King, you're not happy to see
He's not a good man, you can just tell.
Yeah, and then we'll get into him.
Damn, who is he?
We'll get to him in a second. He's important, though. So Maria places a call and waits for the captivating Kyeongju to pick up. So, like, the moment her class is done, she's got nothing else to do. She calls her. Kyeongju sits at a desk in a room filled to the brim with stacks of papers, as a phone rings in front of her. Another woman navigates her way through the stacks until she stands behind Kyeongju. She urges the doctor to pick up, since she'll be fretting if you don't hurry up. Kyeongju rudely shushes her and picks up the phone. Just who the fuck is this new mystery woman, and why does it seem like she and Kyeongju have something planned with Maria? Why is Kang such an angry, sloppy bitch, and why does he deserve to die? Is Jinny's health really improving? And why is Maria such a goddamn simp? The answers will become apparent pretty quickly, but they will surprise you.
Nice. Is that all I get?
That's all I get. It's very short. It's a very short comic, and things happen pretty quickly.
Okay, well, I'll probably read this later. It's very interesting.
But also, too, as I'm saying all this, there is a prologue chapter for this comic. So I started us off in chapter 1 and went forward. But the prologue chapter straight up mentions that Kyeongju wants to kill Kang. Just straight up, they're just like, because truthfully, even if you know that she wants to do that, you don't know the reasons why. You don't know what else he's doing. You don't know, how this is still going to play out if she really does kill Kang. So there's enough mystery even with that prologue or whatever. Because the prologue's like a good trailer. where it gives you some of the high points, you know that people are involved in whatever, but you don't know enough details to actually know the whole story.
Right.
So, I'll get that out of the way. This is a revenge story, and Kyeongju wants to kill Kang, but we don't know why yet.
Nice.
But we can get into the characters, because there's some characters I didn't get a chance to get to. So, like, Maria's uncle is in the military and stationed in Korea at this time, too. Mm-hmm. He's also cool. Like, all of her family is actually cool people, and I love them a lot. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we just kind of got introduced to the new mystery woman that's, you know, with Kyeongju right now.
I didn't see her, so...
Yeah, I don't think I have a picture of her at that point. I have a picture of her from later, but this is Maria's uncle.
Okay.
I'll explain why he looks like a
You can just skip it until you get to her, the other lady. If you
and then
want.
this is the mystery lady. Like,
so she was the background lady.
Yes, she was the woman that we see her in the background at the beginning of the comic, and then we're introduced to her again where she's standing with Kyeongju and being like, "Hey, pick up the phone, Maria's calling." Blah blah blah. So that's, you know, how that goes. But let's get into the characters a little bit so we can explain a little more without giving too much away, of course.
Yeah.
So, of course, we have Maria Arden. She's called Dr. Arden for about half this comic, and then Maria other times, depending on who's addressing her, of course. But she's our main character and a doctor from the United States. She was adopted as a baby into a white American family and sees herself as American first, Korean second. She's extremely confident in her work and has every right to be, as she proves herself to be a competent doctor and a clever accomplice. She's never one to shy away from a challenge and seems to take pleasure in putting men in their place. Despite it all, she's quite sweet to her friends and has a great well of empathy. She's just got dog vibes, like a beautiful but bitey cocker spaniel. She is also the biggest lesbian that ever lesbianed, and does so many dangerous things in the name of pussy.
I thought she was going to be the dangerous lesbian, but she looks like the falling over herself lesbian.
She's a dog. Non-derogatory, but she's a dog. But she has a lot of...
She's just so horny.
Like, her two main modes are I have to help people or get justice, or I have to get pussy. She is Kyeongju's number one simp. Speaking of Kyeongju, Kyeongju Lee is our female lead and also a doctor. She is the daughter of healthcare professionals and has been living in Korea her whole life. If Maria serves cunt, Kyeongju's the one who's making it.
Damn.
Because Maria's pretty cunty, Kyeongju is somehow worse.
Nice.
She's incredibly strong-willed, calculating, and rude, which is absolutely necessary considering the mess she's wading through. Her hyperfocus is both a positive and negative attribute, as it definitely helps her on her journey, but also blinds her to the gay thoughts. There are rumors about her, and most of them are true.
Nice. I like that. Still mysterious.
Mm-hmm. She hates Kang with every fiber of her being, and she definitely doesn't think Maria is cute at all. Not even a little bit. Don't ask her again.
I'm just trying to get what I want.
Yeah, like, she's very much tsundere because of her circumstances. It's not like she's just doing this to be a bastard.
No.
It's like the circumstance she's in, she's like, I don't have time for this, but
it's
oops.
Complicated.
And then I have a note because I thought this was insane. At one point, Maria is hyperventilating because she sees something, like, fucked up.
Oh.
And, yeah, she sees something fucked up. She's hyperventilating, and Kyeongju's like, I'm a doctor, I know I need to help her. And Maria's asking for a paper bag or whatever because she knows what she needs to do, right? And Kyeongju's like, well, I don't have a paper bag. So she kisses her?
No.
Until she stops hyperventilating. And I'm like, excuse the fuck out of me?
I wonder if there's, like, anything in that, actually.
I think in the way that she's doing it, she's just trying to be what the paper bag is, which is, like, to calm your breathing kind of thing. But it's like, that's the horniest way you could have done it. What's wrong with you?
It really is, but, like, part of me is just like...
Don't do that.
Does this mean something else, you know?
Yeah, it's very much like, don't do that, girl. Don't be like this. So, then we have Won-hyuk Jin-hee, or Jinny. She is Maria's oldest friend, and the adorable wife of Kang. She's been sickly on and off since she was born, and continues to struggle with her health during most of the story. She's sweet and very accommodating. She's the sort of person who would open her home to a stranger for any reason. She's truly Maria's ride or die and continuously proves her friendship throughout the manhwa. And I am suspicious that she is being poisoned.
Oh, no.
I do not have confirmation, but she seemed to never get better until Maria took over. And she does see some of the best doctors in the city, but somehow she's not getting better. And then Maria shows up, and Maria's not even using like new medicine. She's using the same medicine that was given to her before. She's just changed the dosage amount and she's doing better. And so I'm suspicious that she may be actually getting poisoned. It never confirms that. It is just something that was in the back of my mind.
It's just strongly suggested.
It's also like Maria has to get her an antibiotic at one point that seems to help. And the antibiotic is like, there's like a shortage of the antibiotic, but like her husband runs a pharmaceutical company, so why is it so hard to get her the antibiotic? There's enough things where you're kind of suspicious as to why she's still so sick. And if it really is something they don't know how to cure yet, or if her husband is just like mildly poisoning her.
I hope she doesn't stay with this bastard king. I don't know what he's done yet, but I'm sure he's done something.
I can't wait to tell you because it's crazy.
Yeah.
Then we have Won-hyuk King. He is a snake of a man, a doctor, more or less, and Jinny's husband. You know he's done something wrong from early on, based on the all of him, but you're not sure what until the end. He's cocky, entitled, rude, demeaning, and a giant sexist. He's also a user and has nothing but selfish plans with regards to Maria. The sea is waiting for him.
Good. Go into the sea, my man.
And then the dude that I showed you, the white dude that I showed you, his name, from what I know, is Benjamin Benny Bryan. And
Benjamin Benny Bryan.
Yeah, they call him Benny the whole time. I'm pretty sure his name's Benjamin, but obviously the people who are normally talking to him are like Maria and Jinny or his subordinates. And so it's either, Benny or, lieutenant kind of thing. But he's Maria's uncle and a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. military. He doesn't show up often, but he makes it clear that he is a doting and very caring uncle. He spends quite a bit of time desperately trying to spend time with his niece since he hasn't seen her in years. He simps for his niece at every opportunity because he's just so proud of her.
That's cute.
So the pictures I was showing you, he was excited to see her because she hadn't visited him yet, though she came to Korea. And he's like, oh, good, you're doing well. And like, how are you? And how's your friend? And then she's like, yeah, I'm doing great. And I just need your help with blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that's cool. What are you dressed up for? Did you get dressed up to come see your uncle? And she's like, no, I have somewhere to be. And it's like, well, don't you want to get lunch? Aren't you busy? No.
Also, for any MASH simps out there, he looks like Honeycutt, so you know he's a nice guy.
He does a little like Honeycutt,
He looks like Honeycutt, and Honeycutt is like the nicest MASH dude that was ever a dude. So. Yeah.
But no, when he does show up, I'm delighted. He's a very cute man.
Yeah.
And he's actually also, in the same way that Maria's parents are actually trying to be good people, you can tell he's actively passionate about trying to help Korea be Korea on its own. Like, he wants to make sure everybody's good, take care of things, and, like, get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
So that they can be independent and stuff like that. And so he's got the spirit. Regardless of what happens afterwards, like, he obviously has the spirit, so.
Yeah.
And the other character I'm going to talk about is Park Miwa, which that's the mystery woman that we got introduced to for a hot second. She is an independent reporter and Kyeongju's partner in undoing crime.
Oh.
She's sarcastic and steadfast, considering she got fired from her last job for having a vagina.
Nice.
She is truly hard as fuck and has been stabbed at least once in her pursuit of journalistic integrity.
Good for her.
She's Kyeongju's ride or die and consistently tries to talk her out of doing a murder. She's wary of Maria at first and loves to tease her, but she comes to truly respect her over time.
Nice.
So she's just doing her own thing most of the time, but every time you see her, it's like, you're honestly pretty fucking cool. And she's got like a sharp bang, but I'm like, I get it, girl.
But but hers suits her, unlike Bad Bob.
Exactly.
'Cause, like, it's something about her eyes that it really suits this haircut.
Yeah. There's two other characters I'm just going to quickly mention because they do become relevant later on. But there's a police officer, I don't remember his fucking name. You'll see him because he's slimy and gross and is immediately trying to hit on Maria.
Nice.
And he is colleagues with Kang. Oh. And so you can tell there's some weird triangulation going on here because he keeps hitting on her and, like, obviously wants to date her. And it's like, ew, gross, whatever. And then what I meant when I said there's a lot of lesbians in here, there's an army lesbian.
Army lesbian. And she looks like Houlihan, who everyone wanted to be gay.
Yeah, she's blonde-haired, blue-eyed, and she absolutely sees Maria once and then tries to hit on her.
I mean, I don't blame her. Maria is also a catch.
Like there are so many women in there so super hot. So
Again,
I totally get
Maria
it.
Sigourney Weaver. I don't know who to compare the hotness to. The Korean woman. Kyeongju. She's just hot. I don't know. There's no one to compare her to.
Yeah.
She's just that hot.
Yeah.
But everyone else, it's like someone watched MASH, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, so I just do love that there was like another lesbian in the military, and I was like, yeah, because that's what they were doing during that time. Lesbians were in the military historically.
They were big in the military.
Yeah.
Because there was one, I think it was the 1950s, where they were going to get rid of the lesbians. And a lesbian secretary looked at the journal and she goes, "You would lose half your company, by the way." And he was like, "Never mind."
That is true. They were going to, before we had Don't Ask, Don't Tell, they were actually going to try to ban gay people from the military. And they found out how many gay people were legitimately fighting for our country.
Like specifically gay women who were in charge of really important shit.
Yeah.
That they're like, no, we can't afford to lose.
Yeah, so we have a history as Americans of being very gay and big shooty. Okay, well let's talk more about what's kind of going on in here and why I'm truly smitten with this comic. It's very, very good. So this comic is a bit of a whirlwind, filled with action, adventure, espionage, and intense lesbianism. Like, I cannot overstate how gay our lead is. She is a true testament to disaster lesbianism in that she's extremely competent in her daily life and an absolute mess around women. So many of Maria's actions are spurned on by her unending need to be with Kyeongju. And while it's funny, it's also really refreshing. Because I've read plenty of stories with a lovesick, horny male character, so seeing Maria act this way is a real treat.
Yeah, to have a desperate woman being like, no, I must impress you.
Yeah, because there are some comedies I've even watched where, like, a dude gets into a crazy situation because this girl is hot or whatever, and then the girl's cool and is like a spy or like, you know, a secret agent or something like that, but then this bumbling dude is the one that kind of ends up saving the day for her, and then it's like, oh, I get the girl and she respects me. And while I find those charming sometimes, it also feels like woman's not good enough to take care of her own shit.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to see a competent woman. She's bumbling just because she's horny, but she has her shit together, and then she helps this other woman who's also very cool, and they do this together. So that's what felt.
You know what's funny is Ryan Reynolds does the movies where he's the type of bumbling man, but he gets the woman to save him and still gets the girl.
Yeah, and I think
those are the types of movies he kind of does.
That one's even better because it's like, no, he needs to be saved.
Yeah.
As opposed to him saving the day, he's like, oh no, she saves me and I needed that. So like this fits in a nice zone for me where I'm like, this isn't, no woman's getting demeaned. The woman is just better than ever, essentially. Her gay shenaniganery also gives brevity to an otherwise really serious story. It's made clear in the prologue and opening scene that this is a story filled with revenge and some level of attempted murder, set during a really tenuous time for Korea. There are also some really heavy topics being addressed outside of the overarching plot points, like, you know, the rampant sexism being one of the main ones, but drug addiction is also hanging around.
Yeah, because it is called Opium.
Yes, so Opium, of course, it's called Opium. Opium does make an appearance multiple times. It's one of the main plot points in here, and, you know.
I mean, it was a very popular way to kill yourself back then. And also be addicted to.
Yeah, this is a story that has, like, children who are addicted to opium and, like, in the process of, like, dying from the addiction. So, like, there's some upsetting stuff in here. So getting to see Maria just be like, yes, Kyeongju, I'll do whatever you ask me to. Yeah, can I come over? Can I help you do a medicine?
Senpai, please.
You look tired. Can I help? Can I help some more? You're so pretty. We don't have to fuck or anything. I just want to help you out. It's nice. It's nice to hear it. Speaking of which, the damn story is called Opium. So it's fairly obvious that addiction will play a role, considering the drug's history, but it's also a great metaphor for the main character's behavior. I again have to reiterate how much of a simp Maria is, but she legit puts her whole life and pussy on the line for one woman multiple times.
So it's like comparing her to Opium a little bit?
That Kyeongju is Maria's Opium.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. And she doesn't actually have a reason to trust Kyeongju, but she just keeps on going. Her desire to be with Kyeongju borders on obsession and addiction. And of course, revenge is seen as an addiction as well. So, So Kyeongju's obviously also having her own sort of like, maybe I'm addicted to the idea of killing somebody kind of thing. Several other characters can also be called addicts in their own right, though their situations are more typical as they mostly revolve around like power and money. Like that's kind of in the background of like, oh, this person is addicted with power, money, fame kind of thing. It's really clear what needs to happen in this story to make the revenge plot complete and bring justice to all the characters, but Aji still managed to make some time for character growth. Maria's path forward is simple on the surface. She's falling in love, obviously, but she doesn't just become smitten with Kyeongju. She falls for Korea also.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, sorry, like,
yeah.
with the subtle racism at the beginning, it's nice that she goes to this place and she loves it.
Because she ends up actually liking the people and caring about them. Because again, she's got a lot of empathy.
Yeah.
But it's cool to watch her slowly reconcile her ancestry with her Americanized self and settle into understanding her identity as part of the diaspora. She kind of realizes what racism was doing to her before her return to Korea, and she develops a new sort of pride in herself and what she's achieved. Because I think, I've heard this from other people too, that like, me, black person, the racism was baked into black people being in the United States pretty much. Like, there were very few black people in the United States before slavery became big, and so the racism was baked in for my culture and for all the way up until me being alive now, right? But I've heard from people of other races and from other countries that the racism wasn't as overt. So there was so it's kind of like the model minority myth is kind of like put into that same thing, where the racism didn't seem like it was a big deal because they're not getting like lynched in the street, but you're still having to deal with racism. And so I think that's kind of one of the things that Maria went through, is realizing, oh, no, it's not even just sexism. Racism is what gets me a lot of the time. Right? Why I'm uncomfortable sometimes is actually racism as well, because I'm not taken seriously as a person, even though I'm good at all these things. There's still this level of, you're a second-class citizen, with the big plus sign next to it.
I feel like if you were like another ethnicity adopted by a different ethnicity, that would be so hard. Like, you know, like, if you're black adopted by white folks, they're raising you that way. You know, they're raising you in their culture. And so then, like, but then you have this whole other culture, like, around you and next door to you that you don't know about.
And it's worse because, like, everyone knows that you should be part of this other culture because it's how you
Because you can't hide it.
Yeah, you can't, Not being raised in the suburbs and then going to, like, you know, a party in a trailer park. If you're all the same race, like, nobody's going to necessarily make a thing about that or whatever, but you wear your race on, you know, your body.
Yeah. What a cool little, what a cool, like, thing to also add in with some lesbianism. Like, hey, let's, like, have some identity discovery here.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like that. Yeah, I mean...
Like, I'm not being sarcastic, if that sounded sarcastic. I genuinely like that.
There's so much of this that was banger story regardless, and then I got little extra details. And then Kyeongju has the biggest change, as she has to figure out if dedicating her life to revenge was really a smart choice. She learns to process her anger while still remaining true to her vows, allowing herself to finally live a life rather than living to end someone else's. Watching her slowly discover that her new wants and old wants are not mutually exclusive is pretty cool, partially because it's a journey that's most often reserved for men. So we've definitely seen this kind of like male character is trying to do a revenge or is like very dedicated to some end goal that he has, and then meets Pretty Woman or meets somebody that like kind of changes his mind, and then he's like, but I need to get to goal, but now my goal has changed, and then it, you know, woman nearly dies or something, and then it's like, oh, she's my new goal. But this, I think, even goes a step further, because it's not like she fully cast aside her, you know, initial goal of doing her revenge. It's just, she learns, oh, I actually do want to live life. I feel for this other person.
Like, maybe now I don't want to die for revenge.
Yeah, there's, I want to be able to do both, and I think I can do both. I just have to be more careful or change my plans a little bit. So I think it's a stronger kind of, I think it's a stronger plot maneuver in general, but then also it's like, okay, cool, the woman gets to have this, like, this tough change to her personality, you know? Like, she does some truly heinous stuff and seems to have little concern for her own life, and it makes me think of so many muscle-bound action heroes with trauma. Mm-hmm. But this time, it's for lesbians.
Honestly, I keep thinking, I'm like, this is reverse John Wick. Because he changed his life for a woman, but she died. Then she gave him a dog, and then bad people killed that dog, and he went back to the bad world. So it's reverse John Wick.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And then a big change for both of our leads is learning to trust against all odds. Because damn, if they don't have reasons to be wary of others. Kyeongju, due to the specifics of her past and her whole super secret revenge plot, obviously, not trusting people, but Maria's got a history of being taken advantage of due to her name. Because her parents are well off and influential, so people, including her past lovers, often seek her out in the hopes of gaining favor or getting access to better opportunities. But she gets used all the fucking time.
All the time.
So it's truly a wonder that Maria is as sweet and as earnest as she is. And it's wonderful watching them learn to rely on each other while trying not to get stabbed or thrown into the Han River. Mm-hmm. Which is also a place
Someone is going in that river. You have mentioned it so much.
Well, it's also a place that they have sex.
Oh, okay.
They have sex on a boat in the Han River.
Okay. I'm glad it's not in the river. Only because I think rivers are gross.
No, and it's also too cold for the river.
Yeah. So sex in a river, I would argue, is better than sex in a lake.
Ew, no, none of it.
The river is moving, though.
You're right, but there is
I know it's not as safe as the ocean, but...
There's a brainworm.
Yeah. Let's not get into this. Don't have sex in moving bodies of water. I think, unless it's a shower.
This is also one of those stories where the patriarchy is one of the main villains, with the other being colonialism. Sure, Kang sucks, but that's definitely because he thinks men are better than women, and that Japanese occupation of Korea wasn't that bad. If you know anything about the effects of colonialism, you can guess what Kang and others are involved with, but the story still manages to surprise with just how bad things are, and that's pretty cool. Because I'm sorry, we know Kang's a bad guy already. I had a feeling he's a bad guy because Kang is very rich and successful, running a pharmaceutical company after the Japanese occupation. And if there's anyone you should be suspicious of after colonialism is over, is who's rich. Just saying. Mm-hmm. Aji did a ton of research to make sure this story sounded believable and remained accurate to the time period while still being thrilling.
Yeah, good research.
She was even able to uncover documentation that proved relationship between women were quite rampant in colonial Korea, especially among the educated.
Oh, fuck yeah. I love that. It's okay, I'll prove my fucking source.
Well, she was just looking for information on what women were doing during that time, and she found a bunch of, love letters and, fake, unofficial marriages that women had between each other and stuff like that, and diary entries from women and stuff.
That's
so it's pretty cool. And none of this is really that surprising to me, at least, because Aji is a sort of author that is serious about details to the point that no line is wasted and everything will be relevant in the end. There's also a richness to her storytelling that can make 50 chapters feel like 100 and still leave you wanting more. And the art is good enough to match the energy, because it's both serious and sensual and really helps ground you within the story. And all the women are super hot. So shout out to Junghyun. They are fucking genius. Oh, man, I'll have to show you more also because it's insane.
The art's beautiful. I am going to read this one. There's too much interesting history for me to not read this one.
Truthfully. Well, Opium is a story that is more than the sum of its parts. It's historical and sexy and nerve-wracking, and it blends all these disparate elements together into a gorgeous work that keeps you engaged from first page to last. It presents justice as attainable through perseverance and the strength of community. And most importantly, it's a sort of story that asks you to determine when an addiction becomes dangerous.
Nice.
So, if you want a thrilling, mysterious, and hot time, Opium is for you. You can read it on tapas. It contains violence, drug use, drug addiction, colonialism, sexual harassment, blood, medical malpractice, death, domestic violence, guns, racism, sexism, and several men that need to heed the call of Cthulhu and go die in the sea. So, what is your whole rating?
I'm giving this a perfect score, 10 out of 10. This has what I'm craving. There's stuff to be afraid of in here. There's racism, there's, xenophobia, there's shitty men, misogyny.
All over.
There's tons of stuff to be scared of in here, but you haven't hit me with anything that feels, rapey or nightmarish or I'm going to think about it long after I close this book. Those books are good too. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I want to read them, but I don't often want them in my queer media because life feels so much like a horror story being queer.
Yeah.
I want it toned down a little bit. But Not much, because this is a thrilling story.
Yeah.
This is a thrilling story with history, with, like, intrigue, with romance.
With stabbings.
With stabbings. Like, this is very cool. This is so cool. This is a 10 out of 10. Perfect whole. I'm very excited. And, I mean, honestly, it even opens with people getting some whole. It's hot. It is a hot story. It's interesting. I'm down.
Yeah. Well, it opens with both holes. Somebody with a stabbing hole and then somebody getting dicked down.
Oh, you're right. Because it does open with the stabbing, but there is also a dicking.
Whatever kind of hole you like, we have it in this comic.
Yeah.
I also 100% agree with you. I think it's 10 out of 10. I'm obsessed with it. And I might reread it. Because I already started rereading it as I was collecting images. And I'm probably going to finish it. But if you want more from the author, Aji, you can find her on Twitter at Aji Mung, which is AGI_MUNG. Or you can read her furry Yuri war epic On a Leash on Tapitoon and Manta. The artist, Junghyun, is on Twitter at QT1_JO. But it looks like they haven't been active since 2020. They also have a link to their personal blog on there, which also seems inactive. But pray that they return and do some other comic because their art is truly gorgeous.
Nice.
Are you down for more Hole? Peruse our Tumblr and Bluesky, both at hole-chat. Or email us if you're feeling frisky at hole.chat.69@gmail.com. And please know that we appreciate every comment, like, share, or forehead smooch you give to us. So do it harder, please and thanks. Well, that's it for this episode. Thanks so much for listening, and tighten up.
Tighten up.